this is Ree here. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate everyone. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing. It really helps me a lot. Don't forget to check out my website, paradoxastrology.com. Book your consultation today. I can help you with anything. And if you would like more exclusive occult videos that I don't post on YouTube, consider subscribing to my Patreon. It also helps support this channel. Okay, let's not waste time. Let's just get into this video. Now, October is a very eventful month. I spent a lot of time looking at the charts and writing this out because there's just a lot happening, especially with two eclipses. First, we have the solar, then we have the lunar eclipse, and just everything going on with all the countries. I made sure I looked at all the individual charts and of the Prime Minister of Canada as well. I really wanted to see if we could gather as much information as possible so that we could be ready. Now, I'm going to talk briefly about the eclipses, but I'm going to have a whole separate videos about the eclipses because it's just way too much to put in one video. So let's start off with that. Now, okay, October 1st, Mercury is going to go into Virgo. So the good part about that is that we're going to have the ability and the intellect to deal with any matters that come our way. It's going to enhance the way we communicate. Our mind is clear so we can deal with certain things. October 1st, we will have Venus at the Gandanta point. The Gandanta point shows us that there's actually going to be some type of challenge, and this could be a crucial point. This could be a catastrophe as well. There's many different things that this could equal, but it's not a favorable position. Now, the Gandanta point is a few degrees before and a few degrees after when we're going from fire to water, water to fire, and it causes that sizzle. Venus will be at the Gandanta point, but on October 1st, it will go into Leo and giving power to the leaders after slaying the demons in Astrology. Now, in my previous video in July, I talked about the Venus retrograde, and I said that once Venus retrogrades into Astrology, going from Magha, which is the leaders, to Astrology, the leaders are planning on something that will affect us. We are considered the demons to them. And what happened was the Maui fires. Now it's going to go back into Leo. So now that that has happened, this is going to give power to the leaders. Now that Gandanta point can show us that there could be some unexpected expenses, some relationship, business matters that could see a challenge or a crisis at that time. Now we also have Rahu, which will be in Aries until November. Now this depends on which node you're using. Are you using the true node system? Depending on which node you're using, they could be changing in the beginning of November or the end of November. But it will be in Aries and still at the Gandanta point for basically until January of next year. Rahu at the Gandanta point in India's chart in the 12th house will indicate hospitalizations, death, war and losses, foreign affairs, and secret enemies. This is why you see a conflict between Canada and India seemingly out of nowhere because they were blindsided by secret enemies, which is Canada. Rahu is also affecting Canada's first house, which is the entire country, the Prime Minister, and this is going to cause a national disaster for the country. Rahu is in the US's 5th house, causing massive problems in the entertainment industry. So this is why you see the music industry is losing profits heavily, especially in the hip-hop genre. There haven't been any number ones anymore in hip-hop. It's kind of dying out. And the writer's strike in Hollywood, this is why you're seeing that. In the US's 10th house, we have Mars in Virgo. So this can indicate some problems with Biden, levels of government and celebrities. This could even be a death of a celebrity. There are indications that something huge will change in the United States, and maybe that could be a replacement of a leader. Now, last time Jupiter was at the Gandanta point where Rahu is right now, in October 1987, we had the first contemporary global financial crisis that unfolded October 19th, 1987, which was known as Black Monday. That's when the Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped 22.6%. So I think we should be very cautious because there's a lot of indicators that there could be some kind of financial crash. Jupiter retrograde at that time was in 0 degrees Aries. So like I said, that is exactly where Rahu is right now. Saturn is conjunct the US moon, which is what's called Shawtee, which is the most difficult and life-changing times for the country. Saturn is the third house lord, which can indicate accidents, problems with travel, merchants, problems with communication, problems with the auto industry, and schools, teachers, trades with other countries. And it also is the second house lord, indicating that there's problems with the economy and the Federal Reserve. This isn't just a little blunder. This is something that is going to be life-changing for the US. The moon, which is conjunct, is the 8th house lord. The 8th house is showing us that there could be a demise of the president. This could be a demise of the state treasury, the public debt or foreign debt, trade, stocks. There could be new medical discoveries, and there's a risk of war or a national disaster. This could be financial or this could be weather. Now, on October 3rd, Mars will be conjunct Ketu in Libra in Chitra. Now, this is an illusion that will be broken because Chitra is the illusion, and it will cause anger around the world. In the US, this could be a loss or death or ending in the entertainment industry. This could also include the wealth and revenue of the country as a whole and the printing of currency. Also, gains from other nations and parliament. There we could see a loss that was a previous gain. Also, this is the writers, teachers, immigration, travel, automobile industry, all jobs in communication will see a problem around October 3rd. Canada, this will happen right on its descendant. Now, Mars is its ascendant lord, so Mars and Ketu together, it's definitely going to affect Canada as a whole, causing a greater international dispute. Aggressive act towards other countries that could result in deaths and casualties. Trudeau could make an angry speech that could affect the country. His natal Mars is aspecting this by the 8th aspect in his 3rd house. He is also in Mars Rahu Dasha, which is in the 8th house as well, which is war, and making him very angry and unpredictable. He has an obsession with power and will act aggressively and illogically in thought because Rahu has taken over. When you have someone obsessed with power and now they're in a Rahu Antardasha, it's going to excel him to want all the power and all the revenge. Now, Canada's problems will increase as Mars is conjunct by sign. Canada's natal Saturn is there. So it's going to be conjunct by sign. So that's Canada's 10th house and 11th house. And so K2 will be there as well. The worst will happen closer to the end of October and November. But the Mars K2 conjunction will be a precursor for what's about to be activated during the eclipse on October 14th. And we probably saw this precursor happen around September 29th as well. I'm shooting this video September 26th, so I don't know yet. Now, the eclipse will happen on October 14th. I'll show the map on the screen. So where you see it illuminated is where it's going to affect which countries. It's going to affect everybody, but it depends if it's conjunct any planets of yours or not. It really depends on your own natal chart. But when we look at this, we can just see what countries will be affected because as above, so below. So the micro and the macro are always affected in the same function. So you can see the US is illuminated. It's going to go from Oregon to Texas and then passes over Mexico's peninsula and parts of Belize, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia, and Brazil. And elsewhere in the Americas, we also have Alaska, Argentina. There will be a partial eclipse that will be visible. Also, slightly a bit in Canada as well. So this will severely affect the US and its reputation and president, and can also have to do with immigration. If you see that ring of fire, it's kind of likened to immigration, the path of immigration. For the world as well, the stock and stock markets will be affected. Banks, financial institutions, families, loss of money, which will make people begin to get angry and panic. We could see a demise of leaders, new medical discoveries, insurance, pensions, risk of war, and natural disasters that can cause casualties. The people that will be affected by this types of professions, because this is in Chitra, the main ones will be everything that has to do with like design, fashion industry, cosmetic industry, plastic surgeons, surgeons in general, photographers, artists, interior design, business experts, broadcasters, landscapers, painters, novelists, screenwriters, designers, directors, theater, stage managers, performers, musicians, advertising industry. All of these things will be affected during the eclipse. Then the next eclipse will be happening on October 28th. Now, the main cities that will get affected, a few of them are Rome, Cairo, Lagos, Singapore, Tokyo, Amsterdam, Shanghai, Moscow, Budapest, London, Brussels, Athens, Paris, New Delhi, Stockholm, Yangon, Miramar, just to name a few. Now, during this time, we'll have Rahu, Moon, and Jupiter in Ashwini aspected by Saturn and Shavahisa. We'll also have Mercury, which is in a Apapkatara Yoga, meaning that it is in between Mars and the Sun and also Ketu, and the Sun will be in detriment. So at this time, the Sun in the debilitation degree, this is the highest debilitation degree, will cause a lack of self-esteem, criticism, lack of leadership that can lead to very destructive, self-destructive actions and setbacks. So there's a balance that must be made to ensure that independent business people are not affected by this unexpected change, because this will be in Shawtee nakshatra. And these are the most independent type people, independent business people, some very rich independent people. So there will be some speech that will be done without thinking that will aggravate the markets. The markets could be aggravated due to overinflated data. This is what happened in 1987, and I can see this happening again. Also, greatly affect travel as well, travel industry, supply chains, how we communicate, how we trade. New laws could be put into effect to deal with this event. It's possible, like maybe this has to do with the currency, the type of currency we use, that the only way to go is digital. I don't know. Hopefully not. This could also indicate weather disasters with rain and water as well. The professions that this second eclipse is going to affect is business people, tradespeople of all kinds, singers, musicians, inventors, researchers, independent enterprises like entrepreneurs, government-related professions, pilots. So that's why I can see a lot of travel issues during this time, because both eclipses actually have Mercury that will be combust. So there'll be a lot of problems during this whole month with communication, except for a little bit in the beginning, but most of the month, communication and travel and mercurial type jobs, anything that has that communication within the job, like a broadcaster, a podcaster, and things like that, and transport industry. This will also include computer and software industry, professions requiring any flexibility, serving professions, housekeepers, right-hand man, skydivers, educators, teachers, lawyers, judges, politicians, trade union, working class leaders, diplomat, host and hostesses. So a lot of different types of people that this can affect. And actually, I forgot to mention, before the last eclipse, we will also have on October 18th, the sun moves in Libra. And then on October 18th, we have Ketu, Mercury, and Sun conjunct in Chitra, activating the events of the eclipse again that day. So the 18th will be the precursor for the eclipse on the 28th as well. So Chitra gets hit a lot. So if you have any planets there, if you have anything there, or that's my descendant, so hey, I'm with you on that one, okay? I'm not just predicting for other people. I get it. It gets hit a lot. So what this means is there's going to be great change for you. Great change. And in the beginning, the first one is a solar eclipse, right? So when Rahu eclipses the sun, it's like the light is gone. So we don't know what to do. The lights are off, right? But then the lunar eclipse will come and illuminate what we need to do. So if you don't know what to do when you get hit, if you get hit by these, just wait. Don't panic, just wait. Okay? Things always work themselves out, and change is inevitable, or else we'd be stagnant. We have to embrace change. We have to invite change, because change can lead to the best things in our lives. That's what change does. It will make all these challenges for us so that we elevate. That's the whole point. So we have to be more excited about it and not be in fear about it, right? And I'm telling you this because I can see things hitting my chart as well. And so I'm just coming here as an example to show you that it's totally fine. The events of the October 18th, which is a precursor for the eclipse on the 28th, the moon will be in Jesta nakshatra, which can indicate police presence in crime or aggressive acts that take place on that day. So in summary, there's a lot of things happening, but we are immortal beings. None of this matters to an immortal being. They're small events. In the end, everything will be completely fine. Eclipses are a normal thing that happens every 6 months, and this is something that we have to go through as human beings. And sometimes things will pop up out of nowhere that we didn't know were there. But that's because we're meant to know that they're there. We're meant to deal with it, because if things didn't pop up, it would stay within our body. Because remember, the planets are not outside of us. The planets are within us. And the planets indicate what's happening within us. So if it didn't come out as an event, it could make us sick. We could have all terminal illnesses and things like that. And so that's why these things come up. And then say you do get sick because of the eclipses. That's because it's manifesting so you can let it go. So if you look at it, no matter what, it's a win-win for us. This will illuminate what we need to see. And this will make us stronger in the end. And this will make us greater immortals. That's just a little bit of my video about that. And like I said, I'll have separate videos for both eclipses so you can understand. And I'll break it down very thoroughly, as you know. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all of you. And I'll see you in the next one.